Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to Chair Powell for being here today to speak about these important issues. As you know, over the last 2 years, we've seen the significant impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on our global supply chains for both industrial and consumer goods. While our economy is beginning to recover, we are already seeing the impact that Vladimir Putin's illegal, violent attack on Ukraine will have on the price of oil and gas here at home. I'm supportive of the strong, swift actions the administration has taken to sanction major Russian banks and Russian oligarchs in response to the unprovoked war that Russia is waging against Ukraine. I can believe we can go farther and do more. I'm also mindful of the impact that these sanctions are having and will continue to have on everyday people, not just in Russia and Ukraine, but also here at home. These sanctions can affect the availability and pricing of essential goods for hardworking Arizona families by further disrupting global supply chains. Let me be clear, Arizonans stand with Ukraine in their fight to determine their destiny. We are supportive of the actions taken thus far to hold Russia accountable. And Arizonans are also concerned with the price of groceries and everyday goods, and we're paying too much at the pump right now. So in a global economy, sanctions often involve economic trade-offs. How is the Fed assessing the impact of Russia's illegal war and the U.S. and allied sanctions against Russian banks on the pricing of oil and gas for consumers?
Thank you. So oil and gas prices have been going up really for a couple of months now in anticipation of this, and then they've gone up substantially in the last couple of weeks. And, the really important question for the economy is how long that will persist. The immediate impact will be to raise gas prices and other fuel prices and prices for companies using energy. So inflation will move up. People will feel that, certainly at the gas pump. And also, crudely, a little bit. You would expect at least a little bit of lower economic activity due to higher energy prices. But again, it's both the magnitude of that full, and that will really depend on events that haven't happened yet. How big will those increases be? And secondly, how long do they persist? If they are brief and go away, or if just the price of oil stays at a certain level for a while, then the effect on inflation will be temporary. So we'll be watching all of those things, and we run simulations and that sort of thing. That's one of the things we like to do, and so to make ourselves think about the possibilities. Of course, everything is so uncertain. It's just very hard to say where this is going, and I think in that environment we need to move carefully with our policy, and that's what we're planning to do.
How much do you expect these changes in oil and gas prices to affect the availability and pricing of other goods that rely on oil and gas in the U.S.? And do you expect there to be a noticeable impact in the consumer price index?
I think temporarily, you'll see gas prices move up as they do when oil prices go up, and that'll show up in the consumer price index. It'll show up in the headline index. It doesn't show up in the core index, but it shows up in the headline index. And the headline index, of course, is what people are actually paying at any given time. So It will show up.
Does Russia's war in Ukraine change the Fed's thinking about interest rates?
Too early to say. I do think before the invasion, we were planning to raise rates this year. We were planning to make a series of interest rate increases. That is still the case. I think right now, in this very sensitive time where uncertainty is highly elevated and we really don't know which way things are going to go, I think we need to move carefully. But we certainly think it's appropriate for us to go ahead with our plan, and also our plan to shrink the balance sheet. But just knowing that we do not want to add to uncertainty. Our goal is always to promote financial stability and macroeconomic stability, and that means that at times like this, we move carefully, and that's what we'll be doing.
Last question. The sanctions on Russia's central bank are also affecting American companies who have holdings in Russia. So what assessments are the Fed making about the impact of American companies' dealings in Russia, and how could the Fed respond to stabilize the markets if that does become an issue?
So particularly the large financial institutions, but really American businesses generally, really do not have major exposures to Russia. and they've gotten less over the years. So we particularly with the big banks, there are some meaningful exposures, but they're not large in the context of the overall institution. So in a sense, the first order effects on the U.S. economy from trade or from investment or from operations on the ground are not going to be large. There can be other effects, though, second order effects, and unintended consequences and all that. So we're watching the situation very carefully.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I see my time's expired. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Sinema. Thank you to Senator Powell for